Desire is where all great achievement begins. It is the seed from which every towering success is grown. But let us not be mistaken. Desire alone is not enough. It is not the man with the strongest wish who wins, but the one who disciplines himself to act on that wish day after day without waiting for favorable winds. You may want success with all your heart. You may dream of it at night and speak of it during the day, but unless you force yourself into action, consistent, focused, uncomfortable action, your dreams will remain phantoms, not results. There comes a time when every person must face a choice. Will they submit to comfort and delay, or will they command themselves forward, no matter how tired, distracted, or uninspired they feel? Discipline is the difference between a goal spoken and a goal achieved. It is the invisible force behind every story of triumph. You must become the commander of your own mind and body, ordering them to move in the direction of your goals, even when every part of you resists. It is easy to act when enthusiasm is high. The first few days of chasing a goal are intoxicating, filled with vision, energy, and confidence. But enthusiasm fades. The fire of initial motivation cools, and this is the point where most people they wait for the fire to return. But the successful person does not wait. They have trained themselves to act without emotion, without mood, without excuse. They understand that the habit of forcing action is itself the gateway to mastery. They do not rely on inspiration. They create it through discipline. This power to push yourself, to move your feet when your mind says rest, to write the plan when your heart wants ease, to make the call when your fear whispers no, is the single most valuable skill you can develop. It is the true foundation of greatness. Force yourself, not once, not twice, but daily, until your discipline becomes natural, until the actions that once felt hard now flow with ease. This is how you transform your desires from hopeful wishes into concrete, measurable results. Do not be fooled into believing that successful people are somehow different. They feel the same resistance, the same distractions, the same doubts. What separates them is that they act in spite of these things. They understand that comfort is the enemy of growth. Every time they force themselves to take a step forward, they build a reservoir of inner strength, a sense of self-trust that becomes unshakable over time. You will not always feel ready. That moment may never come. You must become the type of person who acts anyway, who moves forward while afraid, who writes the page while tired, who studies while bored, who practices while no one is watching, because every time you do, you gain a slight edge. And over days, weeks, months, these edges compound into excellence. You do not need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. You need to take control of your own impulses and command yourself toward your vision. Self-discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in motion. When you force yourself to take action toward your goal, you send a message to your subconscious that your goals matter, that your word is law, that you are not someone who backs down or makes excuses. And in time, your mind begins to obey you. The war between desire and laziness begins to tip in your favor because your identity has changed. You no longer see yourself as someone who hopes. You see yourself as someone who executes. Let no man say that life is unfair until he has mastered himself. For when you take full control over your own behavior, your life becomes your responsibility. No outside circumstance, no past hardship, no unlucky break can match the power of a mind trained to act with discipline. The moment you stop waiting to feel like it and start acting because it is necessary, you take control of your future. You break the invisible chains that keep millions from reaching their potential. You become the architect, not the victim. Understand this: greatness is not for the chosen few. It is for the disciplined many. It is for those who wake up and move their feet regardless of how they feel. It is for those who understand that emotion is temporary, but results are forever. If you can master the habit of forcing yourself into action, especially when it's difficult, you will separate yourself from the masses and rise into the rare air of high achievement. So begin now, not tomorrow, not when you feel like it, not when the stars align. Begin now and continue daily with an unshakable commitment to discipline. Let your actions prove your desire. Let your consistency demonstrate your seriousness. And soon, your results will speak louder than your words ever could. The human mind is the most powerful tool ever known. It shapes reality, commands behavior, and determines destiny. To achieve any meaningful goal, you must not only act, you must condition your mind to believe, expect, and pursue that goal with unwavering focus. This is the unseen force behind all lasting success. The consistent programming of the subconscious mind through auto-suggestion, repetition, and mental discipline. Everything you do begins with a thought. Every achievement, every failure, every turning point in your life started in the mind, long before it took shape in the world. This is not philosophy, it is fact. Your mind responds to the messages you feed it. If you tell yourself you are weak, uncertain, or unworthy, your behavior will follow that belief. But if you tell yourself repeatedly, and with emotion, that you are capable, strong, and destined to achieve, your actions will rise to meet that identity. You must become a master of mental conditioning if you are serious about success. Autosuggestion is the principle of feeding your mind intentional thoughts until those thoughts become beliefs. A belief is nothing more than a repeated thought accepted as truth. When you flood your mind with affirmations of purpose, power, and persistence, you override doubt and negativity. You are not lying to yourself, you are reprogramming yourself. You are rewriting the script that has been written by years of outside influence, failure, and fear. But it is not enough to speak your goals once and expect change. You must repeat them daily, with feeling, with vision, with certainty. You must see your goal not as something distant, but as a reality already forming. Speak it aloud, write it down, visualize it in detail. When your mind is saturated with the image of your desired outcome, it begins to seek out the people, opportunities, and belief and actions that bring it into existence. This is not magic. It is the mind's natural capacity to align behavior with belief. You must guard your thoughts like a soldier guards a fortress. The mind will believe what it hears most often. If you allow doubt, fear, and distraction to dominate your inner dialogue, your actions will reflect it. But if you deliberately choose your thoughts, you take control of your outcomes. Start each day with mental conditioning. Begin by declaring what you intend to achieve, why it matters, and who you must become to achieve it. Do this with such intensity that your mind has no choice but to obey. Mental conditioning is the preparation for the battles you will face. Life will not hand you results without resistance. There will be rejection, fatigue, delay, and discouragement. But if your mind has been trained through daily suggestion and visualization, you will endure what others cannot. You will persist when others quit. You will act with faith while others drown in doubt. This is the invisible advantage of the mentally prepared. Visualize your goal in vivid detail. See yourself already in possession of it. Feel the emotions of victory. Hear the sound. See the environment. Experience the triumph in your mind long before it becomes your reality. This practice programs your subconscious to accept the outcome as not just possible, but inevitable. When your subconscious believes in the goal, it works day and night to help you achieve it, even when you are unaware of its influence. It sharpens your instincts, strengthens your resolve, and increases your capacity. Many people never achieve their goals because they never convince themselves they are capable. They let the world's noise drown out their inner voice. They never take the time to shape their own thinking, so they fall victim to fear, delay, and distraction. You must not make that mistake. You must take responsibility for your own thoughts. You must become the architect of your own belief system. That is where true power lies. Mental conditioning is not about ignoring reality. It is about creating a stronger one. It is not about pretending that obstacles do not exist, but about preparing the mind to overcome them. Every great leader, innovator, and achiever has used this principle in some form. Whether they knew the name of it or not, they spoke to themselves with purpose. They created mental images of success. They believed before there was proof. And because of that belief, they persisted long enough to make it real. This is the path of those who rise. First, they win in the mind, then they win in the world. They understand that the real battle is internal. If you win that battle, the rest is strategy and time. But if you lose it, if your own mind becomes your enemy, no amount of talent, opportunity, or luck will save you. So begin today. Speak your goal aloud. Write it down in the present tense. Declare it as fact. See yourself achieving it. Repeat it morning and night until your entire being aligns with the image you hold. Make it so familiar that your mind treats it as destiny. This is not mere motivation. It is mental transformation. And once you have transformed the mind, the world has no choice but to follow. There is a price to be paid for every dream worth chasing. No goal of value comes without sacrifice, and no great success is achieved without effort. The man who forces himself to keep going when it hurts, when it's inconvenient, when others are resting or giving up, he is the one who ultimately rises. The journey to achievement is not for the faint of heart. It is a path marked by resistance, setbacks, and tests of will, and only those who are willing to give more than they receive in the beginning ever reach the destination. Success is not handed out, it must be earned, and it must be earned through pain, persistence, and personal growth. You must be willing to give up the things that bring temporary pleasure for the things that bring lasting fulfillment. Sleep, comfort, ease, distraction. These are the luxuries you trade in for progress. Every moment of discipline is a moment of construction. You are building yourself into a stronger, wiser, more capable version of who you were. In this process, though uncomfortable, is what separates the average from the exceptional. You must understand that sacrifice is not punishment. It is proof of commitment. If your goal truly matters to you, then you will prove it with your time, your energy, and your choices. You cannot wish for achievement and live like someone who doesn't care. You must align your habits with your desires. The world doesn't reward people for what they want. It rewards people for what they are willing to give. And more often than not, what you must give is not what feels good in the moment, but what creates long-term reward. Effort is the currency of success. Every drop of sweat, every late night, every early morning, every repetition, done in silence. It all adds up. It all compounds. And the results that eventually come are directly proportional to the effort invested. If you look closely at anyone who has accomplished something remarkable, you will find behind their story a mountain of disciplined work. You will see the days they pushed when others paused, the times they kept going when it seemed no one noticed. That is the hidden story behind every victory, relentless, often invisible effort. But effort alone is not enough. You must also have faith in yourself. Faith is the ability to move forward even when the road is unclear. It is the voice inside that says, keep going, when the world gives you every reason to stop. Faith does not eliminate fear, it overrides it. Faith does not require perfect conditions. It demands that you act in spite of them. The man with faith becomes powerful because he does not need the applause of the crowd or the guarantee of success to act. He believes in his cause, and more importantly, he believes in his capacity. There will be moments when progress feels slow, when you do the work and the reward doesn't come. When others question your path, and even you begin to wonder if you're wasting your time, this is the crucible in which true character is formed. These are the moments where most give up, but these are also the moments that, if endured, create unstoppable momentum. It is in these moments that you must remind yourself, nothing great comes quickly, and nothing worthwhile is ever easy. You are being tested, not by the world, but by yourself. Can you stay disciplined when no one is watching? Can you hold the vision when there's no evidence yet? Can you push forward when your mind screams to stop? If you can answer yes to these questions, not just once, but repeatedly, you are on the path to achieving anything you set your mind to, because the greatest battles are not fought in the external world, they are fought in the mind. And the man who conquers himself, who silences doubt and moves forward with discipline and faith, is unbeatable. Success demands that you give more than you take, that you plant the seeds long before the harvest, that you put in work today for a reward that may not come for months or even years. But this is not cause for discouragement. This is cause for power. Because once you realize that the path is hard for everyone, you begin to understand that most people will quit. Most people will not sacrifice. Most people will not persist. And that means if you do, if you force yourself to go one more step, one more day, you are already rising above the crowd. There is no shortcut around sacrifice. There is no replacement for faith in yourself when the lights are off and the results are invisible. The only way to reach your goals is to commit to the process, to fall in love with the climb even before you reach the summit. And once you understand this truth, you stop looking for the easy road. You stop hoping for luck. You realize that everything you need is already within you. Your discipline, your effort, and your faith. So stand up, not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Work, not when you feel inspired, but especially when you don't. Keep believing, not when you see results, but when you see nothing at all. Because the moment you do that, consistently, deliberately, relentlessly, you cross the line that most never reach. You become the kind of person who doesn't just dream of goals, but forces them into reality. And that is the kind of person the world cannot ignore.